Hello everyone, how you going? It's Bridget here from Brigitte's Cottage in Charleston in the Adelaide Hills. I'm sporting my new op shop find. I've been wearing it for quite a few weeks now. It's an SPF 50. I think it's actually from a camping or boating store, but it's fantastic. Like, it actually gives me some coverage on the back of my neck and right down here on my throat, which is an area that I really don't want to get sun damaged. And then I can actually pull it up right over my face if I'm working in a dusty area, you know, say if I'm cleaning out the chicken's yard or whatever, and I can just wash the hat. It's excellent. A really nice, good, quite a long peak. I feel like Daffy Duck, but I'm having a ball wearing this. It's really, really great. I've just put my hair up in a bun so my hair stays clean. I'm really enjoying wearing it. I've got my overalls on that I got from the paint box in Harndorf, and I'm smothered in sunscreen, so I'm not going to be out here in the heat of the day. It's only early in the morning, but I wanted to just show you what's going on in the garden because I haven't done an update for a while. I'm just going to talk about the backyard and show you where we're going, but I wanted to, you know, put my face on and say g'day everyone, have a good day, and let's have a really good end of summer here in South Australia, or wherever you are, whatever season it is. I hope that you're having a good run of it. It's actually lovely knowing that we're at the end of summer. You know, we're going into a lovely time of the year with autumn, lots to do in autumn, and people the other hemisphere and are actually doing, you know, coming into spring. So it's lovely. They're coming out of their winter and they're getting into their nicer weather too. So I think everywhere in the world is getting into nicer weather. Let's hope, okay? We can try. All right, I'm going to flip this around and we'll have a look where we're at. So where I'm at right now is down in the dahlia patch, and I've got lots of babies. I've got some hydrangeas and lots of chrysanthemums there, and also some dahlia cuttings. But I wanted to show you where we're at. Terry has been very busy. We planted a whole heap of dahlias this year, and so I reckon probably about 230 to 260 dahlias. We had massive amount of rain, and even in pots and in the ground, in the best positions we thought possible, I reckon I lost about 20% of my tubers, so quite costly. All learning really, and also, you know, we really can't control the weather. So these ones have been successful, and I've got gaps in here where I have gone through and pulled out the ones that haven't been good because they either got rot, or they were basically like blind tubers. So they got so wet that their necks were destroyed. Really bizarre why it happened. Very frustrating, but as I say, I'm learning. This is my second season of dahlia growing, so doing pretty well to have more than half success rate. So I've got about half in the ground and half in pots. We've set up some really good system here for support as they grow. They will just get like soft ties that we'll use to put them onto these just wire going through irrigation pipe, and then we've used trampoline springs. So yeah, really chuffed with that. I have still got to cut back some of these because yes, they're going to go to flower, but they're not actually going to give me the best plant if I don't cut them back now. So I'm doing that slowly. So I reckon we've got about 120 in pots and about 120 in the ground, sort of. Haven't done my final take on it all, but we're going pretty well. There's been a little bit of bug activity, a few like caterpillars, maybe earwigs. We've also had a little bit of white fly, not in this section of the garden but in another section, so I'm going to try a few different approaches on that, how to deal with it in a natural method. And gladiola is coming up here. I've got the bigger pots going on this side of the fence, and I've still got some dahlias here to sell. If they don't sell, they're going to be planted in the ground because they're all beautiful, and I'm not going to waste any opportunity to plant the dahlias. There's my trailer that I got with my nan's money. We've got a big mess here. There's been a lot happening, and we're slowly clearing off a lot of the section at the back of the greenhouse now. We're doing pretty well, and Terry has been amazing. I mean, she's got us some infrastructure with some like trellising. We've got high trellis. We'll go into the chrysanthemum patch. We've got so this is our fenced picking bed. But basically, we've tried a few different things in here. We've had sunflowers growing in here, and we've had chrysanthemums. Last year when I did the chrysanthemums, they were all around the edge of the fence line and over here, and then this was more just like annuals. But we had a really bad run of soil that we got in called Profert. We were told it was the bee's knees, and it was not good at all. It didn't help, it stunted the growth of my plants, and I had a real lot of failure in this area. So a lot of these chrysanthemums were what I have basically kept over winter in a more sheltered area, in actually where I just showed you with the dahlias. And I've got them out of their pots now. They've been put in the ground, and we're now creating official rows. And as you can see, when we walk through here, I can actually walk through, and my feet, that's a good distance apart. So if the flowers, when they grow up, they're going to come up now through this and through this mesh, and they're not going to fall over. So that's been one of my problems, that I realised I'm not supporting my chrysanthemum plants the best way I can. Like, you know, I've had a few, this is what I did last year. They've all been trimmed back now. Australia Day, we normally do what's called the stopping the chrysanthemums. You can do it Melbourne Cup Day and Australia Day, and then now I should get a really good flush of flowers for Mother's Day. But I've used like old chair legs, just tied it up and supported it, but they fell. They're very heavy. They'll grow up underneath through the mesh. It was a bit scrappy. So this section here, we're just going to do some horizontal mesh that goes connecting up there at that permapine post, and just come it back to this one. This is going to be a little bit different, and this one we're going to do more structured like the other two. And then this section here, where I've just got like a bed starting, I'm thinking of actually putting the ranunculus in here, and I'll make it a wider bed, and I don't think I'll give them any support. I think I'll just, maybe I will, but I'm thinking of just making it a nice wider bed, take the opportunity of the full sun and the protection of, you know, Rory not coming in here. Rabbits, we've got rabbits at the moment. They're like pretty big issue with the rabbits. So we've got some protection in here, and I like the idea of having a rambling cottage area, but I think for this side of things I need a bit more structure. So not something that I really do very well is structure, organised, you know, but it's actually giving me some sense of comfort to have this organised area in here. Now I'm going to make this view a bit more wide. So now I've got lots of sorting to do in this section. Really gets the full sun, and it's gone like crazy, but we've had some weeds come in. We have got an issue with grass that just keeps coming into this area. This part of the garden gets a lot of water, the runoff, and it sits in this area. And it's great because it will absorb into the garden, but the grass has just gone rampant, and I don't want to kill it off with poison. So that's going to be another newspaper job there, and we will probably end up putting some, I'd love to grow something there, but we need to keep it for the actual roadway, like so that we can get our trailer in and truckloads of dirt, whatever we need. So this is going to end up probably being what you call like a road-based type gravel, and we'll compact it down, get Terry to compact that down. In here, this is just really scrappy. Buddleia is needing a really, really good trim back, and I have done this section. So I've achieved a fair bit of getting good tidy up in this area here. I've also pulled out some roses. So I pulled out some roses that I was gifted, but they were ones that were old that we dug out from a garden, and they just weren't picking roses. Pretty, but look how much space I've got now that I can actually use to put something in that I really want. So it means that I can either plant more chrysanthemums or more salvias, more penstemon, more of the globe artichoke, you know, that sort of thing. The echium here, I've cut it back, but I'm holding off on it till autumn, because what I want to try and do is see if I can actually get these, because traditionally what you would do is cut it back to, you know, this is a growth point. I'm going to try and do something a bit like how other methods of propagating, you know, horizontal. I'm going to put that in like that way in the ground and see if I can get some shoots going, maybe even divide it up and see how we can go with that. Now we're going to get wet if we walk through here, but it's just so pretty. So I'll face this way so you don't get the water on you. Woo, look at the belladonnas. It's all starting to happen around here, and we've got a really lovely little sample of the globe artichoke there. Globe artichoke, echinops. Maybe it's globe thistle. Globe thistle is what it is. But yeah, that's looking pretty, to have that splash of pink and the carpet roses and the fuchsia. It is looking very pretty there. And then we go into the shady part of the garden. Well, creekside. We're creekside along here. Lots of, this is just pretty much as it is. Got lots of tidying up to do. But in here, the Linaria, I've started cutting it back, and I need to go in and collect some of the seeds. So it's still dying back, you can see. This one is still green. This was just a mass of purple flowers in here, between the echium and the blue, and there's the scabiosa. It was just so pretty. And now what I'm doing is going around and I'm actually cutting them out, collecting my seeds. There's a seed, and then on the other side the same thing happens, and then you're left with this beautiful translucent seed. It's just the casing, really. I'm not sure if that's what that part is, but that doesn't grow anything. It's just a gorgeous dried flower, and some of them have been damaged in the weather because we've had excessive rain. I actually thought these were all going to go mouldy with the rain, but I've left them go as long as I can to dry off, and it's worked really well. And I'm going to get like masses of seeds out of this. It's brilliant. Whether it's going to be any good for floral work, I'm not sure, because it's a little bit stained there, but it's still very pretty. So yeah, at the moment this is not looking its peak, because we've had 2 years of growing the Honesty. It's come to the full height, it's done its full cycle, and now it's, you know, dropped lots of seeds on the ground. It'll take us another 2 years. We actually may get some more come up that flower this year, but it just depends, because that's the first time I'd planted them. So some of the seeds, I may have scattered some more seeds in a little bit later, but I've got a feeling we're going to just have to do this whole cycle all over again. African daisy down here, herb robert, and then we've got like a little water feature in there, buddleia, echium, a few bulbs around the outside like the naked ladies, and we've got hellebores in there. But this area still needs a good tidy. And here's a rose that was it was a horrible rose. I'm not going to even gift it on. That's just sitting up there because I didn't want to scratch Rory or anything, and that will be cut up and put in our green waste, because you don't put roses in with your normal compost, because they can have fungus issues, and they bring in different diversity to the soil. So we're just actually going to remove this rose completely from the site, whereas other plants like the salvia, for instance, that needs to be cut back. I'll be able to do some propagating with it, but if I was just cutting that back to remove it, that would easily be mulched and just add it to the compost, but I would never add my roses to the compost. So there's our garden on this side. That's the area I'm going to extend and make larger. And then we're looking back towards the dahlias up that way. What I'll do now is I will also just show you what I've been doing with the dahlias here. So these are growing really good, just in pots, about 9 on this side, 8 on that side, either side of the swing arbor. And then the sweet peas that I had, they were okay, but it wasn't a fantastic year for me this time, so I'm waiting till March. I might try and get a few of them going before that, and then this will be covered in sweet peas, same as the arbor over there that I showed you before. So we're going to walk along the driveway bed now. The sprinklers are just, I love seeing the sprinklers on. I think that's just magic. I've got a new project here as well. I may as well show you. Over here we've got the, you know, like the water sort of garden. We've got 3 ponds there, and I've got 3 ponds, one pond here, another pond into the shady area. And then here, this area gets quite a lot of water when we get the natural rainfall. When we get the heavy rainfall, it all comes down this way. So we've got the canna lilies, and anyway, the Jerusalem artichoke are there. The cherry that we moved, weeping cherry, we moved that from the front. Really not sure how that's going, but we've really been trying to give it a bit of love. And this is the area we call like the swing garden area. And we've moved an organ here. The top is still in storage. This has to be all sanded back, and I'm going to paint that, and I just want it to be something really special in this area. What I like about it is it's going to block, especially when the top, which is virtually as high as the base, goes on, it's going to block the background of the sheds and everything. So great for photographic side of things, but and for staging up flowers. So we can either, I'm not sure if I'm going to plant things in there, or if I'm going to just use it for putting in, you know, like seasonal displays, that sort of thing. But it's, yeah, pretty cool. It's an old organ, and look, you see them getting given away so often. There's the mop tops. And then, oh, I've got something pretty cool to show you. So this is the sunshine garden in here. I'll just show you this real quick. So that's a little bit, that's ready for another tidy up. I've gone through, done one big tidy up. Now I need to go in and remove a lot of the fennel, because the birds have been on it. They chew it, they break it, it falls down. But I will have enough seeds of fennel to last me a lifetime in the whole neighbourhood. So before they go into seed, they're only still green, I will cut these right back, we'll mulch them up, and let more light into this area so we can create some more really pretty effects in this sunshine garden. And I mean, look how big the agapanthus are, they're massive. And then over here, looking in the back part of the swing garden, golden rod is starting to get really tall, and in here's thickening up. We're getting a few really nice plants coming up here, and you know, like the belladonnas are they're just beautiful. A few different sort of colours that I've got going in the garden, which I love. We've had rabbits. Rabbits have been digging. They're really starting to pee me off, because I've basically filled in that hole yesterday and they've come back there. But what can you do? And now I'm going to show you a new part of the garden which I haven't shown anybody on my social media yet. So this is the first place you'll see it. We've got a lot of stuff still to sort in the driveway here. We've got a tank that we're moving around the back. We've got some of Gary's, a shelf with some ropes, and we've got a filing cabinet and just a bit of crap basically that we've got to move out the way. But we've also got 6 of us living in the house now, and I don't like this look of all the cars everywhere. So what we're going to do is as much as, you know, I'm so grateful Gary was going to let me extend this garden bed out, or actually make this a garden bed. We've now decided that until the kids have, they're not kids, but as, you know, once they've moved out and they've actually got their houses sorted and that sort of thing, we need to supply extra like parking space up here. So my plan to have a full sun garden has to just be on hold. Terry has worked so hard. The agapanthus here, like you can actually see how wide that lot is. That's not as thick as what she moved. She moved something that was almost 3 times as thick as that ran from here all the way up near, you know, all the way up there, and it came from probably like where my foot is to the fence. It was just a massive amount of agapanthus. We've gifted them on to a really beautiful family who were affected by the fires, and they've now been able to put a beautiful like row of purple agapanthus all the way up their driveway. So it's just brilliant. But while we've been sorting out our house and making room for our sons moving back in, we had some old mattresses, we've had things that we've done a huge big cull around the house. So Terry stripped all this out for me, the mattresses, and I'll actually take it back off that view that I had it on. I'll just put it on normal view. So she stripped off all the mattresses for me, and I said to her, I don't want to, you know, break them up or anything yet. I'd really like to see if we can use them as a fence, because I love the quirkiness of this. We're now at the circle garden edge. So she's done that, and then we just used some pallets. This is a very temporary fence, but it's a brilliant, it's keeping well, it's not really keeping the rabbits out because we've got other access points, but it keeps the dogs out, and it actually has given us, you know, a sense of this is one garden and then this is, you know, the driveway. But we've lined up the dahlia pots in front of it and the other side, so it's instant staking for the dahlias, and I just love it. It is so quirky. Now, she only just did this not long ago, but there was so many bits in it connecting all the cloth up, and the actual mattresses, the foam, we will just slowly get rid of that in our bin. The little bits of it's like a carpet, very soft, it's like a felt rug almost, that we're going to use as a weed mat out the front. And I mean, I just think it looks really, really brilliant. I love it. I love how different it is, and it's just got a lovely cool vibe to it, I think. So that's what we've done there on the edge of the circle garden. And so the agapanthus were like pretty much where this red pot was, and then all the way down there. I mean, and look how much space I've got. We're going to cut the plum trees so that we're going to try and espalier them, but we're probably not going to even need any solid structures at this point. We might still put in a post at each end, but we just want to try and create an arch that we can walk through, still get some plums, and yeah, hopefully it goes well. So that's the dahlias there, and they're going to look really pretty. Once I get to know all these dahlia varieties and really know my colours, one thing I would love to do is actually create a rainbow, like, you know, go Roy Jabiv all the way down, you know, red, orange, whatever, all the way down, to just really see if we can get that effect. Not going to really get a blue dahlia, are we? But we could go for a deep purple, indigo type dahlia. So now we're going to enter the circle bed, and I will put you back onto a wider vision. Here I've got the roses that we've just been slowly edging in along our you know, the trellis that we created up next to this big window arch, we call it. It's the window trellis because it has a big hole in the middle of it, and we actually quite like that effect. And then there's one of the hearts that I've made. I did a thing at Christmas time. We've got goldenrod growing here, raspberries, and then I've got some dahlias. Sorry, my shadow's in the way, but yeah, we've got some dahlias in pots along here. It's actually it's nice. And then the chooks are in this section over here, so we've got that walk through there that brings you into another part of the garden out the back out here. But if we just look, and so you can see the fennel, the cockies have really enjoyed eating it. I've taken what I wanted, and I need to cull that right back now. We've got a huge big Jerusalem sage in there about to flower. The fig is just gone crazy, and we've got the Jerusalem artichoke, not Jerusalem sage, Jerusalem artichokes I meant before. This is another Jerusalem artichoke here, and it's just massive. It's twice as tall as me, I think. I think it would have to be. That's about to pop out with some beautiful yellow flowers, giving a bit of wind protection and all sorts for the plants in the garden. Got the comfrey. If you're wondering what comfrey looks like, this is comfrey, this one here, and it's a very, very effective plant for bringing up nutrients to the soil. Very quick growing, and those leaves, I just cut it right back and scatter the leaves all around the garden, and adds in so much nutrients. Brilliant in a compost pile. The mirabilis here has come out in a massive flowers, also known as 4 o'clocks. And then you can see you're getting the flower, you know, one's dying off or one's just starting, and then we've got a seed And the seeds literally are like this. I mean, look, it's just, they're so easy to collect, but they are real, they're a chunky seed. That one's not ready. I took that too soon. See how it's still green? But that there, when they're ready, they just roll into your hand, and they're amazing. They're a really bright cherry plant. They're poisonous. They're not that great for picking, but for adding a nice pop of colour, it is really pretty. And you can get them in yellow and then sort of multiple, like a blend of pink and yellow. So I'm trying to just get a few more varieties of them in. Then I've got the chrysanthemums and dahlias in pots. Chrysanthemums in the ground. Then I've brought some more dahlias into pots in here in this garden. And I've brought some candelabras in that I use for my photo staging, and I thought they're just sitting in the shed, and it's like, I don't mind if they look a little bit rusty. If I ever have to do them up, I'll just sand them and paint them again. And they're just giving me supports for the dahlias. The old-fashioned cedar in the middle there looks pretty groovy. I've cut back all the borage, and it's started to grow again now in different spots in the garden. It's self-seeded. The bells of Ireland, they're starting to go to seed. They're also called like Irish hollyhocks. They're excellent actually. I really, really like them. Delphinium's going off to seed. Foxgloves have finished in here and hopefully thrown a few seeds for us. Yeah, we've got a lot going on. It's a busy area, but it's got a really nice area to walk through. This here is called St. John's wort, this creeper, and it is really pretty, but it's becoming a problem for me because it's actually, there's a nice monarch butterfly, it's starting to creep across this path, and I've got a whole heap of bluebells in here at the base of the apple trees, and I'm going to cut the apple trees back so that they're a little bit more espaliered as well. Let the light in for the bluebells, get rid of this St. John's wort. It's a nice plant, but there's some things about it you have to be really careful with, like it's actually toxic to sheep and sheep, goats. It affects their skin. I don't know if it's the actual healing quality, St. John's wort. I think it is. I don't know how to use it. For me, it's becoming a bit of a hog in the garden, and it's not that great in flowers. Very short-term floral benefits. So it's gone. And then yeah, there's the dahlias on the other side of the sunshine garden fence. This area here is all waiting for some beautiful seeds to create a bit of magic in it, and the nectarine tree is probably going to be cut pretty harshly, because it wasn't a great crop. So I've got a bit of work to do in here still. Here comes some black cockatoos. Oh my gosh, let's see if we can get them for you. They're so beautiful. There's one. I just love it because you can hear them coming. I love picking the sounds of the birds. There's some more. Oh, magic. That's just magic. I don't know how good that would have come out, but they're absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful birds, and I love hearing their sound. It'd be so good if they came back. But there's been so many of them at the moment. There's something going on. I don't know what's going on with them, but so many here, like more than I've ever seen. Whether there's just something that's grown up in the hills that they're eating, but they're really happy up here. Alrighty, so now we'll go back to this area. I've got a bit more here in pots, and then we come to another entrance in the circle bed. God, there's more. There's the sunshine bed. So we're at the edge of the circle bed looking at the sunshine bed, which is very pretty, coming up with some yellows and oranges and pinks and reds. That's the whole theme in there. The calendulas are starting to grow, so there'll be a whole mass of calendulas in there for autumn. And that's pretty much it from this area. We've also got the lion's tail growing there, coming to the end of its run. Really lovely. Leonaris, something like that. But that's an excellent plant. I've got that in white as well. And then we've got the elderberries. And then we've just got extended area around the chooks. But I think that's it for now. What I might do is just show you the swan plant, because that's a pretty exciting part of the garden. And we'll go out our little fence here. It's just an old screen door. See what I mean? It's like quite a quirky part of the garden here. So pallets and screen doors and bit of this, bit of that. So I reckon that the mattresses just go perfectly there. And when we get rid of all of that stuff in the driveway, it is going to look tidier at the front and out the back here. There's a beautiful big monarch flying then. So let's change the view again. And here we are now at the swan plant. So it's called a swan plant because the flowers, how can I try and show you? Here, it almost looks like a little swan, like you got the body of the swan and then the head. The head is almost like a, there you go. See how that looks a bit like a swan? There. That's where the seeds will go. They'll be all there, they'll puff up and they'll drop all their seeds. But right here, we've got the flowers. And look at this. Little butterfly, caterpillar. Monarch butterfly caterpillar there. Let's see if there's any others. I love looking for these. And they literally, now these are aphids. So ladybirds will pop on here soon and they'll get rid of them. There's a really good synergy going on with the plants and the bugs in this area. So these are not my friends. Come on, Clip. These are not my friends. I do not like these bugs at all. These ones. They're horrible. They get squashed. But these, we want these in the garden. These are just beautiful. Come on, focus up. I'll pause it. Right, I'm trying to focus on this caterpillar for you. There you go. And while I'm filming this, there's a really big butterfly just flying around us. There she is. There she is. They're just so beautiful. So all these caterpillars, there's another one in there. All these caterpillars are going to turn into butterflies. I actually am going to, oh look, I might be able to show you. Oh, she's off. But I've just seen that we've got, it's going to change focus as soon as I move my fingers. But we've got one here, there's one here, up the top. There was, gosh, there's quite a few around. There was that other big one we saw. This is just one plant. So to see them like so little, here's a, let's see if we can focus in on this one. Yeah, so cool, really cool. Alrighty, I'll flip you back round. I've flipped you around. And now where I am is standing in front of the chooks. So sun's in my eyes, but I got my hat on. So that was a pretty long video, but you're getting an idea what's going on in summer out the backyard. I haven't gone out the front, I haven't gone the back behind the chickens, and I haven't gone along the creek bed. Haven't shown you the compost, where that's at, all of that sort of stuff. But we've got lots going on, and things are definitely progressing here in the garden. To think that this is really, I think we're now at the 2.5 years mark. So this was just where I'm standing right now. There was nothing here, nothing except for the cedar, and then just all mulch and a few little plants that we put in. So everything's growing really, really well. Putting in like the cow poo, alpaca poo, the straw from the alpacas, we're putting the worm hit in, and then we put in like different soils. We've found soils that have worked and what hasn't worked, but the most organic and loose, viable sort of friable soil that we can use is the best, something that will let the water run through, not bog the plants, and just sort of like not digging and turning the ground, letting the ground settle and adding in lots and lots and lots of mulch. So layers and layers of, you know, newspaper mulch, and then we do it again, and then we do it again, like all the paths, all these paths behind me. That's just continuing to, we just keep mulching over these paths. Whenever the gum tree drops all of its bark, I just put that mulch down there on the path. It's keeping the weeds down. Weeding is really minimal at the moment. It's more a fact of plants being a bit straggly and finding some full sun areas for them. So that's what our problem is at the moment. But we're starting to create it, and I've just got to be patient. Once we've got a full spot, you know, that we can use out here again, I might increase the garden bed out here. But I've found that because I haven't had a lot of space, well, I have, but I haven't had as much space as I wanted, I've had to use what I've already got available. And you can actually get a lot of plants in and get the sun to them. I mean, in 3 months' time, in 2 months' time, my dahlias are going to tell me if they're happy or not. So we'll see, won't we? But if the dahlias work where they are now in pots, I could easily get another 120 pots in here and put them, and I love it because I can move them around the garden too. So that's pretty cool. All right, well, I'll say see ya, and I hope you're all going well, coping with the weather extremes wherever you are, because it's not predictable at the moment. We just sort of got to just go with it, don't we? We can't fight the weather, but we can prepare as best as possible. So take care all. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for subscribing, following my Instagram, my Facebook, and thanks for having a look at these longer videos to just see a bit more. You really get to see and to meet me and talk more honestly, you know, as we go through the garden. So not more honestly, that's not the word, just more openly is the word. You're getting to see a lot more than what I can just put in a minute post on Instagram. So yeah, take care all. See ya. Have a great day. Bye bye, and happy gardening.